All right, so this is going to be a longer video of the Focus ST best mods for the money, longevity, reliability, and drivability, and then obviously more fun. So this is broken up into stages for each. And so what I want to do here is kind of have a series where we do each stage one by one, and it's going to be broken down in each stage what mods I consider for each stage be actual stages. So stage one, I would say, obviously first things is either NGK or any colder spark plugs. A front mount intercooler is definitely a must. Also an air filter, which I actually don't have over here. I have it on stage two, but I would actually probably be one of the first things I get is a upgraded drop-in filter, and they range from that price range right there. But if you want your turbo sounds, that's what you want to get right there. I recommend the AEM dry flow filter. It has less maintenance. There's no oil, so when you go to clean it, you can just blow it off with a air chuck, and or wash it like every 50,000 miles, I believe it is. So wash it with like Dawn dish liquid or something, some kind of household degreaser that's safe. But yeah, so I recommend that. I recommend Brisk cold plugs. So like the RR14YS is really good. I'd probably use those ones. Those are comparable to the NGK 6510s. The only difference is Brisks, they have a silver metal. So it's basically has more conductivity. It's the most conductive metal out there, and allows for a cleaner burn. So the combustion burns better, have less misfires and chances of a knock and detonation. Just allows overall the performance of your car to run better, and that's what you want right there. So these are what the Brisks look like, and I can show you. This is a 6510 right here. See how it's like really narrow? And these are only rated, like the 6510s, the LTR brand of NGKs, they're only good for 30,000 miles max. And that's like stock turbo. We're not even talking big turbo here. And then the Brisks, it's actually the same, like 20 to 30,000. Now these are older plugs, so they're not new, but you can see like how much beefier that is, like compared to the NGK. So a lot beefier. The Brisks, I've switched those. Let's see, I switched them in 2018, and I've noticed less misfires on cold starts, especially because these Focus STs like the cold start, or they have cold misfires. Sorry, and the Brisks, these are RR14S. So the YS is the more comparable version to these, but they're still overall better. The S is the non-projected version, so it's actually 40 degrees Celsius cooler. So it's basically in between a two-step colder and a one-step colder. So it's pretty neat. I'd say go with this the S plug. I'd say above 450 wheel, maybe even 400. And I'd do the YS plug if you're running Brisks, below that range, below 400. I'd say they'd be safe. So, and just because the S is a little bit cooler and it's recessed down farther in, I gave away a channel subscriber last year a set of Brisks, brand new in the box, the YS, and he loved them. He was an NGK guy. He switched to them, and he's like, "Wow, been a lot of people that have actually, tried getting the Switch just to, try them out and see what you think. It's worth it. They're $40. You get them at FS Works, plus $10 shipping, so it's like $50. But NGK is around the same price range or more. You can get these at FS Works or at, I like to get them at Summit Racing now, just because they're quicker shipping. And I think the shipping is actually cheaper. But yeah, so stage one, I'd get an intercooler. That'd probably be, other than an air filter and an intercooler, would be one of the first things I'd get. And then I'd probably get spark plugs third. Just because the intercooler is going to make the most difference overall. You're going to have cooler charge temps. You're going to have, less chances of detonation with a stock turbo. And you're going to allow your car to perform better. It's going to maintain horsepower better with multiple pulls because it's not going to heat soak. And then the air filter, the AEM dry filter, is just, the way to go. You never have to change it. Just drop it in. And the thing is, the factory airbox is really efficient. I've seen cars up to 600 plus wheel run a factory airbox. Is it restrictive? I'm sure it is, especially for a big turbo. At some point, I'm sure you could gain, more if you went to a bigger diameter for a big turbo. Stock turbo, factory airbox doesn't need to be upgraded. It's a waste of money, in my opinion. And, owning this car for almost 12 years now, I've had it since November of 2012. I've tried many setups. My first air filter was a green open-end air filter. AEM didn't have one out yet. That was an oiled filter, so they call it green, and it was green. It's kind of interesting. And then I went to what did I go to next? I think I went to another green filter, but it was FS Works. It was like an FS Works shield with the big cone green filter. Then I changed that up and I went to an AM filter like this, and I put it on my FS Works kit because it fit, because that's obviously a smaller filter, so it wasn't as long. And then I just like the AEM filters, just the design. They're dry, like I said. You don't have to have no massive oil. I don't like the fact of having oil getting sucked in. Even like when you go to re-oil them, if you do it too much, you get it on map sensors and all the air sensors. It could screw up the readings, and I just don't like dealing with that mess. It's just easier to deal with something that's more simple. So then I'd say, I don't know if I'd get a cob. I mean, you could. I mean, you could call it stage one with a cob. If you do go get a cob, I'd say custom tune. And just because it's going to have more longevity overall. The cob tunes, OTS tunes, are okay. They're not great. They're not specified for your mods. So they're more or less specified for their mods, for their car that they tuned. And it's like a universal tune basically for our cars. And it's good to run OTS tunes, obviously, if you don't have the money, but run like whatever you have for mods. Say, for example, you got like stage 3 mods, bolt-ons. You don't want to run stage 3 93 octane. You want to run, say, a stage 3 91 octane tune, because I used to do that back in 2014 when I first got it. I had stage 3 bolt-ons, went to stage 3 93 octane, and I'd get corrections all the time on my 93 tune. I switched to my 91 tune, and it was safer because it wasn't maxed out as much, and I had 93 in the tank. So it allows for basically more of a buffer and safer. And also, just overall, you just want to protect your investment. That's why a custom tune is better. It's just going to allow you to have it tuned to your car, for your environment, for your mods. But like I said, if you're going to do it, or the other option, if you do want to run maxed effort OTS, you could add 2 to 3 gallons, 2.5 gallons of E85, full E85 into your tank of 93, and then it'd be safe to run the 93 stage 3, for example, because you would not get corrections at that point. It would be, because your octane would be higher than what the tune's set for. So your octane would be like 94.5 with 2.5 gallons of E85 in a 93 tank full. So it'd be safe. Now, the next thing, I'd get the rear motor mount. I say motor mounts, but get the rear motor mount first. If the car doesn't have it already, if you're new, get the rear motor mount. The best rear motor mounts to get out there, I'd say, I mean, this one's okay right here. This is an AWR. I don't have it on the car, but this is a replaceable bushing. It's a 70 diameter. This is the ST wishbone. So this connects through that bolt right there. Now, what's interesting is this is an RS wishbone, and see how much more beefy it is. And I believe you can actually, I haven't tried it yet, but I believe you can run the RS one. It's just beefier. So there wouldn't be nothing wrong with running this setup here. Or, you know, ST one with that. But I would highly recommend, if you want to spend a little bit extra money, get the stage 2 CPE. That's my first rear motor mount I ever got, was the CPE stage 2. My car had the rear motor mount recall when it first came out. So it had the 1-2 shift bang, they called it. But yeah, so motor mounts, get the rear motor mount one first. The second motor mount I'd get is the passenger one. Now this is the one I have right here. I have the AWR. I've tried many passenger mounts. So my first passenger mount was a blue TurboTech Racing passenger side mount. That was the very first option we had back in early 2013. I believe I got that in March or something. Yeah, something like that. And then my the very first Cobb came out with the first intercooler for our cars that was sold worldwide. It was in March of 2013, March, and I got it in March. And honestly, I should have waited. I was just wanting the intercooler upgrade, and then obviously it came in the kit. It was like ridiculously expensive. It was $1,200. Stupid money for that kind of a intercooler, but it was the only option that we had, and you know, I wanted to maximize everything I could on the setup back then. So yeah, let's see here, what else we got. So the side mount, the rear motor mounts, I'd go with I got a JBR stage 2 in mine, 70 diameter. It's a good rear motor mount, but it's going to probably provide more NVH, so more vibration than the CPE, for example, just because the CPE has EPDM rubber instead of polyurethane, so it has more give, but it's still really solid and actually can handle more high temperatures, which really don't see an issue with that because it's underneath, and where all the wind is, it's going to cool down and ain't going to get hot from the engine, so I don't see that being a problem. I don't have an under tray on mine anyways, so all the oil pan gets all the air and cools down the oil. So let me see here. And for the transmission mount, I'd say only upgrade the transmission mount if you are doing like drag racing, or, you know, from a dig kind of pull. This is the AWR transmission mount, so they have this like bushing, but I left it out and I actually put my stock transmission mount back in. Just gonna leave it like that for now. It has no movement, but this is it right here. This is actually like, this isn't the factory OEM one. This is a aftermarket OEM version, so kind of a little worried about seeing if it'll hold up as long, but looks okay. The engine doesn't move, so that's good. So that would be considered stage 1 for the Focus ST. And the next set of videos is going to be for stage 2. And then it's going to be stage 3, stage 4, on and on. You know, obviously there's probably only realistically 4 stages in these, in this, or, you know, most people are only going to go up to stage 3. But I provide more stages because there's always infinite amount of things you can actually do to this car. So, yeah, enjoy the video. This is the long version of the Focus ST, best mods for your money, reliability, longevity, and drivability. So, and if you can concentrate on doing all that, you're going to have more fun. And your Focus ST is going to last the longest it possibly can.